Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the X-Ring. So in today's episode, we're going to take a look at the latest release from Bushnell, and this will be the Bushnell, the Match Pro series of Riflescope and Binoculars. So stay tuned. All right, we're going to start off by reviewing first and foremost the new Match Pro ED scope. So this was a little different from their last release in that this does have the ED, or the extra low dispersion glass, so it's going to be much more superior glass. It also has a different power range. This one's actually going to be a 5 to 30, and it does have a 34mm main tube. Now let's go ahead and get the price point out of the way. It is $699.99, so $700 for all practical purposes. So starting at the back, you do have a rubberized ocular. It is adjustable. It doesn't lock or no lock ring. You also have your power ring, which is going to be your 5 to 30. It also has a throw lever that you can put in 3 different positions. I'm starting to see a lot of manufacturers do this, and you can place it in the position that works best for you, whether you're a right-handed or left-handed shooter. Coming on forward, you do have that 34mm main tube that we talked about, and we do have locking turrets. I do like that. It doesn't have to be capped for the windage for me, but I do like them to be locked so nothing can turn or bump around. This is a milliradian scope. It does have the DM2 reticle, or the deploy mil2 reticle with 2/10 holds. So the guys at Bushnell really did a good job in making sure this had everything it needed. There is also a rev indicator with a 0 stop that's very easy to set on the inside of the main cap here. It does have an adjustable parallax, and even for rimfire guys, this thing will parallax focus all the way down to 15 yards. So it would be a good option for rimfire as well, because a lot of your higher end scopes with that big magnification will only go down to about 25 or maybe even 50 yards, whereas this will go down to that 15. Now internally, it does have over 100 MOA of travel, and it does have a 56mm objective. Now, I'm not reviewing this optic with zero experience. In full disclosure, Bushnell did send me these 2 items for review, and I'm never going to be rushed on it. What I do is always test them. I actually ran this in a PRS centerfire match and was able to win tactical division. I shot it on a 223, and I was able to do pretty well on that and didn't finish bad overall. But I do have a good, clear understanding of how this scope works and what some of the limitations and some of the pros and cons are of it. As far as the pros, the glass is great. I love the turrets. I love the internal adjustment. Everything works well. The reticle's good. I have no issues with it. The only negative to it that I could really find is when you get up on the higher end of the optic in the power range, it will be a little bit cloudy. Now, it's not bad at all, but it is what it is. You are getting a $700 optic, and so you're not going to have, the shot glass or anything like that. There is going to be a difference. However, you're probably not going to notice it when you're below that 20 power range. And most of us are going to be shooting below that in a competition anyway. So this is an excellent option with a great price point. Now let's talk about what happened earlier when you saw the trailer and me dropping this. So in PRS competition or any type of ruck style competition, we're hard on equipment, okay? Whether it's in a bag or whether it just gets knocked over inadvertently, things are going to happen. Heck, just the trail coming up here is actually quite bumpy. And so I wanted to make sure that we didn't have any shift of 0 if we took a hard impact. I had it zeroed at 100 yards, had my 0 stop set, had everything set at 0, and when I dropped the rifle or kicked it over, I did notice a shift to the right by about 0.8 mil. It did that 2 times. After that, it was good, and I haven't had any issues with it. Now, we are mounted on top of a Daniel Defense. This is the Delta 5 Pro. This is a great, great rifle. It's chambered in 6 Creedmoor. Big shout out to the guys over at Daniel Defense. I did have a suppressor on here, but I didn't want that to affect any of the results. So right now we're zeroed at 100 yards. I haven't shot it at all. I'm here at the 1,000-yard range here at Big Ivy, and it is a beautiful day, and I want to see if it's going to be able to hit these targets. I just threw the data into the Kestrel to see if we can hit some of these steels at 800 out to 1,000 yards and see if this Bushnell tracks well. So let's go ahead and get to testing it. Okay, so looking out across the mountain, I think what we're going to do is straight from the 100, I'm going to shoot out to the 800 yard, which that is actually going to be right in there. It's about 825 yards. Then you have 9, and then you have 1,000 over there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set up the camera so that you guys can see it. I'm going to move this over so you can have a better perspective of what I'm shooting at. And here we go. Let me go ahead and get the camera started. All right, so at 825 yards, the Kestrel calls for, go ahead and make sure we're zeroed. Yeah, we're zeroed. Set the zero stop about there. And it's saying 5.4. 5.4. And I'm gonna get some ears on and let's try it. And let's see how this thing works. I'll take 4 rounds. Gotta find a magazine first. All right, we are shooting downhill on an incline. Glass is actually very clear. It's not bad at all. I am sitting on 18 power, and when I get up to somewhere around, this is about 24 is when it really truly starts to get a little bit milky. But let's see what we got with this. We'll go for the circle on the left. It actually has quite a few impacts. We'll see what happens. Here we go. Impact. It was a hair low left, but not bad. Let's go to the one to the right of it. Impact, 1 inch low. So all the numbers seem to be lining up with the Kestrel. You know, gotta love those Kestrels. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and go to the 1,000. I'm going to have to move the camera so you guys can see this, so give me just a second. All right, so the 1,000 yards is the furthest target we have out here. These are the 2 rounds I just shot earlier. I think there's 2 more in the mag. Let's see what 1,000 comes out to on my range card. 1,000 calls for 7.5. What I'm going to do is run it back down to 0, and we'll go 7.5 just to see. I don't know what the wind call is, but that is the furthest target out here, unfortunately. But it is a beautiful place to shoot. It's nice and quiet today, and we will try it. Love the 2/10 reticle. The holds are nice, so let's go ahead and get the mag in there. All right, 1,000 yards. You guys will have to help me spot because I can't really spot this, but we'll try. Here we go. Impact. No idea where, but it was an impact. Let's follow that up. Impact. So, yeah, this thing actually tracks well. I've had no issues with it. Like I said, other than dropping it where it's shifting a little bit to the right. But I think for $700, guys, I love competition. Competition is so awesome because it will start bringing products to the market that, guys, you know, 5 years ago, this scope would have been $2,000, $3,000, right? But having a first focal plane with 2/10 mil holds, it does make it very, very nice. Let me see if I can get you a view of the reticle. 1,000 yards on a target. So you guys can see how clean those lines are. Like I said, I did have to do some focusing on that just to get it right, but you guys can see it. You can also see how it's just a little bit milky. You can see that bluish tint. I'm trying to do my best to hold it right now, but that little bit of bluish tint is just, it's what you have to deal with. Let me see if I can power this down a little bit. So that's on 12 power there, guys. You can see how much travel you have in the reticle itself. Pretty clean, not crazy cluttered. You do have some dots that you can see. Let me go ahead and power it up to 30. All right, guys, so at 30 power, you'll see how we're just a little bit cloudy, but you can still make out the target pretty well. And you can see the 1/2 mil wind holds all the way down in the Christmas tree. So very, very clean reticle. Looking up at the top, you can see all the way up to 5 mils. And if you did zoom all the way down to 5 power, you'll be able to hold all the way down to 40 on the bottom. It's going to be really, really tough for you to see with this camera angle, trying to get that cleared up. But basically 25 starts on the heavy stadia, and so you could do some crazy holdovers all the way down to this area. All right, so the next thing we want to test is the Bushnell Match Pro ED, and this is going to be their 15 power binos. It does have a 56mm objective here. Basically, that's going to be your tube size, your exit, and you do have rubber caps that can be removed, but it's great for covering them up if you don't want to get scratches or anything. It is a little bit larger than your standard 10 powers. I am going to grab a set of SIGs just to kind of hold them up for comparison. All right, and those that know me know that I've been running the SIG 3000s for quite a few years now, so they are quite a bit taller than the SIGs on the Kilo 3000s. These have been great, but this doesn't have a reticle. That's something that this does have. So it's really, really hard to find a reticle in a set of binos that's worth a dang. It just really is. Or you could maybe spend some really, really big money and get you a set of Steiners, and you could have a good mil reticle in that. This one does have a mil reticle in the right objective, and what's nice about it is it does have an adjustment within the actual top here where you can adjust the cant of it, because anytime you start shifting the width here, I hate to see a reticle that's crooked. It's just really hard to see. Now, you guys might be asking, well, why do you need a set of binos? And the reason is you have a much bigger field of view, especially when you're ROing or when you're scanning for targets, than you would something that was just huge like a 25 power or a 20 power spotting scope. It's just much harder to find those targets. So if you're shooting something like a CD match and you're out west and you're scanning for targets, you just want something with a bigger field of view. Now, while these are awesome, these have 10 power, these are even better with that 15. So I'm not comparing these two. That's not what we're doing here. This right here, the price point on it is going to be $700 as well. It is a 15 power. It is a full up armored coating, rubberized, and you do have adjustable focus on the left and right side as well. You also have the standoff cups here so that if you needed to wear glasses or if you didn't want them fogging up, you could adjust your standoff for the ends as well. It does come with the strap, and what I've done is I've added a really right stuff bracket. This is the Arca Swiss, so that I can put it right on top of my tripod. It makes it really nice when you're ROing a stage, but what's even nicer than that is having that reticle inside. This way you can give corrections with your friends or whatever that you normally don't have with this set of Kilo 3000s. Now the difference is this actually has a set of rangefinders and this doesn't. I think Bushnell did a good job putting these out, but I think they would hit a home run if they can incorporate a rangefinder into this Match Pro ED. If you were to do that, it would have everything that you needed. And I am familiar with the availability of some of the electronic units having electronic reticles, but having that hard reticle basically etched into the glass makes a huge difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some footage of this and let you see what it looks like. I'll try to get some onboard footage through the reticle and see what these 15 powers look like. Another thing that's included in the box is this little standoff perch. This is not a tripod or anything, but basically you can set the width of your barrel so that if you're hanging off of a tripod and let's say you wanted to rest your hands to stabilize it, they're not continually closing on you. So this is a really nice feature. I can see where this would be practical. However, I think it would be better off if they would have shipped a perch for an Arca Swiss. Now they did think about that in that they do have two screw-off caps here where you could install this fore or aft, but then you could take the other one off and use it for your center mounted perch. So in my case, I can use it with this really right stuff on one side, set the tension to where I want it so that it can't close on me, and then I can actually rest on it. So this is a pretty neat feature. It does come with a cleaning cloth as well, but this is a good set of binos. I think they're just built durable and they've got a good feel to them. Ergonomically, they're very comfortable. So let's go ahead and look at the reticle and see what it looks like. Now, another thing that's really nice about these Match Pros is the fact that you have a reticle that you can adjust not only the focus of the reticle itself, but you can also adjust the cant of it. So if it's twisted, or if I needed to mount it on my tripod just a certain way, I can get everything in focus, everything from the right eye to the left eye, and get everything matched up perfectly, and that's what makes these so nice. You also have a really, really good field of view. Right now, I can see everything at the 1000, all the targets, and just moving on down, I can easily find the 9 and then the 8. And with a spotting scope, it's so much tougher to do that. So if you were ROing and you had multiple fields of fire, it's pretty easy to do with a set of binos that you normally wouldn't find with a set of spotting scopes. You know, also when you have an angled eyepiece, it's going to change things. I do like to RO with a set of binos just because it's just so much easier to see. And it's plenty enough magnification range having that 15. And I'm going to let you guys see it. Here we go. I'm not even going to look. Oh crap, that was right on a rock. And what I'm going to do now is just lift this. I'll put it this way. Now we're going to let it fall on the objective side. So here we go. Okay, and then the way the really right stuff works, it actually, something that's forward, it'll do that and slide off. And because it's an Arca. And what we'll do is we will check it on the eyepiece side. So let me do that. Let me turn this around. And guys, this isn't being unrealistic. My SIGs, this has happened to at least 3 times that were actually fell on rocks. Unfortunately, I did not have a cover on it when it happened. It did chip the lens. I'll show you that. So this isn't being unrealistic. These things do happen, especially at a match. So here we go. Man, this hurts to watch. All right, so what we'll do is I will come over here to you guys so you can see it. Yep, we've got some dirt here. The objectives look good. Everything looks good here. Now, I will tell you, I've seen tons of Vortex break the eye cups here on their rangefinders. Of course, they have a lifetime warranty and you can send them in, but sometimes I don't even want to mess with that, right? You know? As far as the focus, everything seems to work. Let me go ahead and look downrange and see what's going on, if anything. So first thing we're supposed to do is focus the right eye. Let's get the reticle adjusted correctly. It's focused. I'm focused at 900 yards. Let's see if the left will focus, and it does. And I have perfect stereoscopic viewing. So no issues whatsoever. They passed a simple drop test like that, but being up armored the way they were, I figured that wouldn't be a problem. Do have a little small nick right here. It's not that big of a deal, but that's where it fell on that rock, but it'll handle it, guys. No issues. The eye cups work. Nothing's loose. Yep. Passed a simple drop test, and guys, right here, you can actually see where it kind of pushed through with that rock. All right, so this is further up the mountain. This is as far back as I can get. What we'll do is we'll try 1,000 from up here. I do have the spotter going on in the background here. And here we go. Impact. All right. Let's try another one. All right, the beauty of Big Ivy is shooting like no other. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move back to this back rock outcrop, and we'll see if we can hit that 1,000 from up here. I do have the spotting scope registering up top. I got one shot up there. Let me try it. All right. I'm not even going to take a break. Impact. All righty. All right, I hope everyone enjoyed that review of the Bushnell Match Pro Series binoculars. Remember, these are the ED prime glass with the SC reticle. It is a 15 by 56, and I think this is a great set of binos, especially by having all of the adjustability for each eye, the reticle focus, the cant focus. It makes a good option for $700. However, I wish it had a rangefinder. Bushnell, if you're listening, throw a rangefinder in these, and then that is the complete package. If you can do that for less than $1,000, I think it's a winner-winner. As far as the actual Bushnell, the Match Pro scope, the 5-30, that is a great optic. Like I said, I shot it in a competition, shot it out here today, had 0 issues. However, when I did knock it over a couple times, I did notice it did shift somewhere around 0.8 to the right. Now, once I re-zeroed it after that, we were good to go. Drove all the way up this rocky trail, and it is very rocky with a side-by-side with the rifle bouncing in the back, and had no issues hitting targets all the way out to 1,000 yards. So it is a good robust scope for $700, and I think it's an option for a lot of you guys shooting the rimfires. While I do, and I'm going to mention this, while I do like a lot of the Arkin scopes, the EP5, they just haven't refined that reticle yet. It's really tough to do holdovers when you have 1/2 mil holds, and this answers that question with only a couple $100 more invested. You guys also know the name Bushnell. They've been around forever, ever since I was a kid. I think one of my first scopes was a little Bushnell, and they do have a lifetime warranty on their products, so you know they're going to stand behind it. Guys, I hope you have a great weekend, and hopefully you're enjoying the channel. One of the things that can really help me out is to comment below. The more we can keep those comments going, and the more visibility it's going to get on the channel. So definitely hit that like button if you like the content. I'm really trying to make a conscientious effort to do this more and more and bring you guys better videos. And I appreciate all the companies that contact me about possibly sending products. I don't normally do that, but I'm getting to the point of the channel where I don't think it's a bad idea for the latest, greatest products. Big shout out to Big Ivy Silas Branch. Guys, if you've never been to this shooting facility, you don't know what you're missing. It's located in Burnsville, North Carolina, and they are open Friday, Saturday. You need to call ahead to make sure. As far as everyone else, Hornady, Cobalt Kinetics, Masterpiece Arms, I do appreciate all my sponsors, and I appreciate each and every one of you that watches the channel. Guys, I hope you have a great weekend. You take care. We'll see you. All right, so if you stuck around, I'm going to give you some bonus footage here, but I'm not promoting this product, even though I really, really like it. So I've been having a hard time getting the footage downrange to give you guys clear footage downrange for long-range shots. It's always been a struggle. I've tried everything from the Tacticams, which those are great, especially when you're filming through your scope or through your optic. The only problem is that battery situation is just not resolved, and they just kind of burn through the batteries too quickly. I've tried the AccuVision. I've tried a lot of different ways of being able to get you guys that footage. But one of my viewers told me that I needed to try the Allen system. And the Allen system is basically this cap that's magnetic. It has a magnetic ring. And you do have to tell them which spotting scope you're using, so you could be limited. They don't make one for my Leupold Mark IV, but very simply, you just take the Allen logo and you put it at the 12 o'clock position. Now, I had to put in there Vortex HD. Big shout out to Vortex for providing this optic. This is actually a great optic spotting scope. You can get the mil reticle for it, and it's not that expensive. All in, you're $1,000 for that spotting scope. However, one of the other things you've got to do is you got to tell them what kind of phone you're using. In this case, it's an iPhone 13 Pro Max, and it has a phone case. You just put it around it. And I've even tried the phone scopes, guys. Those didn't work. Basically, once you turn your camera on, you can put it on video or photo. If you wanted to do vertical, now content creators, we don't do it in vertical like this for YouTube, okay? It just doesn't work well. So what we do is we just flip it around this way, make sure the numbers are at the top, and boom, there it is. I'm gonna let you see how fast this is because it lines up perfectly every single time. I am very, very impressed with the product. However, there is a caveat to it. So I went online after the viewer recommended it, and I ordered it online. It actually showed up like 3 or 4 days later, so shipping is awesome. However, there is no customer support. Now, apparently it has lifetime warranty, but there's no telephone number. They have a contact sheet, and I did reach out to them twice with that contact sheet trying to get you guys a discount code. You know, I don't need the 10% or the money, whatever they do on, you know, AvantLink and all these other ones that give me a kickback. I don't need the kickback, but I'd like to pass it on to you guys that are watching the channel, that if you're looking to buy one of these, you can get that discount, because I know there's some hunting channels that have it as well. So either way, I'll pass up on that, but there are some hunting channels. If you look up Allen, you can use their coupon code and get 10% off. So you're going to knock off about $15 to $17 on this $170 setup. But I can tell you, for digiscoping, this is the absolute best thing I've seen. Kudos to the company for inventing it. However, you got to do better with your customer service. Maybe that's the way you want it. None of my business, but this is a great product. You really need to have somebody answering that phone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it dialed in right here. Let's say this is the 900 yard setup. I'm going to move the camera and I'm just going to slap this on here so you can see how fast this really is. All right, so I have to kind of bend over to show you this, but if I take my spotting scope, which I can still use it without the adapters or anything, I can look, find my target, whichever I need. I'm going to go ahead and put it all the way out to like 20 power. Now remember, this is 900 yards that we're looking at here. All I'm going to do is take my video, turn it on, and look at that. It's perfect. Now you might say, well, I don't like all that black. Well, as you zoom in, all of that's going to disappear. So now we have a full screen. I can video record it like this. You can still focus adjust it, and I can optically zoom as well with the eyepiece. You don't want to try to do too much of this, because the way this setup works, let me go ahead and stop that. The way this setup works is the backside here blocks off the other cameras that the iPhone is always looking for, and that's always been the challenge when they started adding these multiple cameras to them. But it is so fast, guys. I mean, look at that. It's still on, and of course I didn't lock my spotting scope, but you could start recording. If I wanted to do photos, I could do that. So for anyone that's hunting, and so this wouldn't be clear there, but let's say you had, you know, an elk and you're scanning way across the valley there, you can take a picture or you can take a video. So the name of the company is Ollin, O-L-L-I-N, but like I said, can't speak about their customer service or anything like that. This is a really great unit.